With me once again is Executive Director of Lucas County Children's Services, Dean Sparks. Thank you for joining us. We are talking about the tragedy that happened to Mike Tyson's family this week. The daughter, 4 years old, was found somehow strangled by a cord of a treadmill machine.
She died in a very, very freak accident. And this is an extremely tragic story. You've got something that's supposed to be healthy for you, and in fact, it kills your child. Parents have to be so careful when they've got things in their homes that they know what their kids are doing with them, whether that be things that are maybe a little bit different that a child might be interested in, a treadmill, or you see them even little kids at the stores are trying to get on them, try to figure out how to make this thing work. Parents have to be extra cautious to make sure that those kids, if they have access to that equipment, they're supervised all the time. But there are so many dangers just in your home that could end up with tragic consequences for your kids that most people don't even think about.
Yeah, we talk about child-proofing when somebody has a small child, but you really can't get rid of every danger.
It's not possible to get rid of every danger. Sure, we can put those little plugs in the plug sockets, and we can put those little clips on your cupboard so that the kids can't get to the bleaches and the soaps, but there are other things that we need to think about and be very cautious about as we're child-proofing homes. If you've got little ones in your home, and that's kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old or whatever, you really need to be cautious about. But there's some things that you might not think about. One, if you've got dressers or bookcases, I've known children to try to pull out the bottom drawer of the dresser. They try to climb up it. The dresser falls back on it and actually crushes the child. I've known more than one child being killed with bookcases or dressers. So please be careful that your things are level, that they're weighted properly, and that if your kids are going to be in there with it, make sure that you're watching them. Things like the water in your bathtub. Bathtub water can get really hot, and when they come out of a factory, they're actually set pretty high. We need to make sure that when we get new water heaters, or when you've got your water heaters that are turned back down to 115, 110 degrees. They're hot enough for a nice shower, but they're not hot enough to scald the child. Okay. Take a thermometer, put it in there, and measure that water temperature.
Now, you mentioned simple things like kids just wandering outside when they're small. You told me something before we began that really shocked me about abuse deaths in our area versus sleeping deaths.
Well, yeah, we call them sleeping-related deaths for children, and that is for kids who die of co-sleeping, and that's such an emotional topic because mothers who breastfeed their children really oftentimes co-sleep with them. We find that's a dangerous situation. We've had 3 children that die related to co-sleeping here within the past year or so.
On top of
Someone
them by
rolls
accident.
over. And especially if there are drugs or alcohol involved and there's co-sleeping, you're asking for a dangerous situation. So please, kids need to have their own beds. Babies should have their own beds, and babies should be on their backs. We've had 5 cases of SIDS that have happened in our community within the last year or so. That's something that death is unexplainable, but we do know that children who sleep on their backs are less likely to have a sudden infant death. Babies should not be sleeping with blankets or with plush toys, even though they look cute, because those are things that are all associated with sudden death.
Okay, some good tips. Thank you so much. Dean Sparks from Lucas County Children's Services. That's tonight's Talk Back.